Well, this is a special edition of Xeocast. We are getting ready for AUVSI in Denver coming up in about 2 weeks now. And we're so excited to have one of our friends and a former guest on Xeocast with us today, and that is Dawn Zoldi. Everybody in the drone industry knows Dawn. She is definitely the queen of drone media and has so much to offer us. Don, before we go into detail again, just in case anybody forgot, tell us a little bit about your background, just for just a minute.
Yeah, or less. Sure. Hi, everybody. Dawn Zoldi. I am the CEO of P3 Tech Consulting. We do a lot of consulting, branding, content creation, and education. Spent about 28 years in combined service to the United States Air Force in various capacities, 25 on active duty as a military lawyer or JAG, and then 2 as a associate general counsel for the Secretary of the Air Force General Counsel's Office. And the last one is the deputy director of the Air Force Academy Center for Character and Leadership Development. So I think that's kind of the 30-second version.
Absolutely. Well, that's great, Dawn. I mean, you bring a wealth of knowledge and just so much passion to the industry. So let's get into our topic. I'm so excited to be going to AUVSI this time. This is, one of now many trips there, and you and I are going to be together on a panel. I'm going to talk about that in a second. But Dawn, tell us, what should we be expecting? You've got a pretty full plate and a lot of events planned for AUVSI. What should we expect this year at AUVSI?
Well, first of all, it's going to be amazing. Number one, it's in Denver, Colorado, which is an hour from my house, and Colorado's always awesome. The only thing I'll say about that is for the last, I feel like since I moved here in 2014, almost
Mhm.
every Mother's Day, which is right up on this event, we've
Yeah.
had snow. So don't assume it's May. It's going to be spring.
Oh,
Yeah, we're getting 5 to 8 inches here, like in the next 24 hours. So
oh, I have
yeah,
to bring boots now, like
yeah.
snow
So just
boots.
keep an eye on the weather. But other than that, what am I doing? Other than
Okay,
dodging the weather and figure out, what's the appropriate layers of clothing to bring.
right. Okay.
Um, so Monday is my second annual Law Tech Connect workshop, and this event was really, in large part, one of the main reasons why I created my company, to bring attorneys and industry leaders and academia and government personnel and nonprofits all together in the same room to talk about some of the toughest issues and make sure, there's this kind of mutual understanding of what is out there. So that's going to be Monday, May 8th, and registration is still open. We have doubled our crowd from last year already. Last year was our inaugural. It was awesome. You were supposed to be there, but your plane got messed up.
Yep.
As did a few other people, by the way. So this year's bigger, better. And to kick that off Sunday night, we're actually having a networking event at the Urban Putt on 18th Street. I think it's 1202 18th Street from 7 to 9. Everybody's invited, but registered guests basically get some of the first 100 get those free drinks.
Right.
So that's what we're looking out
It's the
there.
best part.
Yeah, that should be a lot of fun. Let's see. The actual event itself is all day long, from 7:30 to 5, right up to the AUVSI's reception, and then Rocky
Mhm.
Mountain AUVSI reception after that. And this year, we have so many scholars programs, like so many companies came forward and said, hey, we're gonna support students, young entrepreneurs, academia, nonprofits. And so we have a really diverse group of people, not only on the faculty, but like that are coming to this event. I'm so excited
It's
about it.
great.
Yeah, really good food that we're buying there for breakfast and lunch. And then, like I said, the swag is rolling in. I just did a post about that. I'm always a nerd for swag. I'm one of those weird people that actually
I
wears
I
stuff.
love going through the bags.
Yeah, when you give it to me, I actually wear it. So let's see, what else am I doing? Tuesday, we're going to do a full crew live stream from the floor Tuesday morning with a whole bunch of people that are going to be at that event. Wednesday morning, we're going to do our Dawn of Drones live with Dr. Jack Elston from Black Swift Technologies, from that podcast booth on the floor.
Hmm.
And then Wednesday afternoon, I'm excited to say I'm involved in a weather panel with Don Bershaw from True Weather
Yes,
Solutions,
our
NASA.
friend Don, right.
Yeah, Andy Turling, who's with Drone Up now, used to be with New Air. And there's, I think, two more people on that panel. So really great group of folks to talk about that very important topic. And then Thursday, Maggie Schuster is going to be running around with me. She is going to be hosting the Clubhouse live from the floor Thursday morning, and then it's a wrap. So between running around the floor in between that and like some of
Right.
the evening events, I'm already exhausted thinking about it.
I'm sure. So
Yeah.
what should people expect this year at AUVSI? I mean, theme wise and I mean, we don't know yet because we're not there, but
Yeah.
what should we expect?
Yeah, I mean their theme revolves around autonomy, which is really no shock. I mean, I think what sets this event apart from some of the others that at least in the drone community people may be familiar with is the fact that it really is multi-domain.
Right.
So you got your air, land, sea vehicles and all those companies, and then of course the ecosystem companies that spin out of that, whether it's artificial intelligence and things like this. As an example, Carasoft, which I believe AUVSI is partnered with,
Yeah,
your
my
team.
other company. Yep.
Yeah, they're going to have a big pavilion this year, and their bailiwick, they have a UAS line card, or kind of deck of different offerings in the UAS world, but
Hmm.
it's really an IT world, right?
It
So,
is.
you're going to see, I think, an emphasis this year like we never saw before on cybersecurity at
Mm,
AUVSI, not just on the floor but in the education.
yeah.
And other important topics like weather. So I think it's going to be great.
Well, I'm looking forward to moderating your panel on legal sea lanes and talking about, surface and subsurface autonomous vehicles, because this is a growing new category. I won't say it's new,
No.
but a growing category as we cover UUVs, underwater, unmanned or uncrewed systems or vehicles, and surface ships so much. And I've seen a lot of that at CES. I've seen some of that at AUVSI in the past. So looking forward to talking to some of these outstanding folks that you've got represented on the panel, and that will be on Monday. So looking
Yep.
forward to that. And then I'm showing up. I'm actually going to be talking about drones and data, optimizing the evolution of data, cybersecurity, and privacy with AUVSI education on Wednesday. And then I'm running my podcast, Xeocast. We'll be doing that, doing a live broadcast at the MITRE booth. So it's going to be a very busy AUVSI, I think, for everybody, but there's going to be so much good knowledge and wisdom coming out of this event. And, so much is moving fast in the industry. Don, I know that you just posted, I just saw this on Twitter, I want to say earlier this morning, about the counter UAS ARC that has
Yeah.
just been announced. Can you talk about that a little bit? When it's going to
Well,
start?
yeah, for me, this was a little bit of a pop-up, honestly. I mean, I thought I had my finger on the pulse, but I did not really see this coming. And, saw drone responders had pushed that out like last week. And so the charter is there. I think, rumor has it in the background. Again, this has not been transparent or public yet, that the industry members have maybe been selected, but that was not posted. I've not seen that yet.
Hmm.
I've searching. Um,
Okay.
and so I think there's some preliminary meetings happening maybe towards the end of May.
Okay.
And we'll see what comes out of it, see who's even on this arc, representing industry, and we'll go from there. But Bronwyn, you've seen this as have I, and everybody else in this industry. The arc, they'll meet, they'll do a lot of hard work, they'll put out a report with recommendations, and then what, right? Then there has to be action taken on that. And so,
Right.
it's really interesting because uh other than like, what is it, section 22, is it 2209? Am I saying the right number?
Mm-hmm.
Congress basically saying, hey, FAA, work out some process for critical infrastructure to
Right.
designate, right? Which hasn't happened.
No.
Is it, I have to go back and look at the charter if that's going to be part of this, but the
Right.
idea of kind of who's lead for counter UAS.
Right.
Uh, I don't know I mean, I feel like DHS has kind of notionally taken that role. But where does the FAA fit? Where's the FCC fit? And are they all going to be at this table? It's going to be I think it really has to be an interagency, not just kind of
Oh,
government
absolutely.
group, right?
Yeah, because this is
Um,
broad reaching.
Well, it is. And what's really interesting, we keep using this term counter UAS, but I'm gonna glom on to what Tom Adams and Casey Flanagan from AeroVigilance are saying. They
Hmm.
also have the counter UAS hub and we're recently on
Right.
the drones. They're calling it airspace awareness and protection. And honestly, I like that broader term
Yeah,
because
AAP. Hmm.
now that isn't within FAA's lane completely.
Hmm.
Think
Hmm.
about that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And counter UAS technology may be a piece of that larger
Right.
enterprise.
Right.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this pans out, and maybe we'll get some insights at AUVSI Exponential, and hopefully even at the Law Tech Connect workshop, because we have some FAA reps there, and we're definitely doing a panel on careless, clueless, criminal and combatant drone users. So should be.
Yeah. I like that alliteration there. But yeah, I mean, I've been seeing so much new tech and articles coming out about this whole, issue. And for BB loss to work, in addition to detect and avoid, we've got to just, and eventually remote ID, we've just got to make sure that, we're keeping the sky safe and this whole safety matrix so that, we can do what we're going to do. This is one of the most complex industries. Anytime you're introducing a new technology broadly into the airspace, this is a game changer. And so I think we should be prepared for, a lot of regulations, a lot to keep up with, and this does not move very fast. And so, I think we have to be very patient. I think people want to move fast and say, "Hey, we're doing this tomorrow," and it's not the reality. It takes a
Yeah,
while because you've got a lot of players, you've got a lot of factors in place. And, the one thing that we want to do is just to make sure that we stay safe and we don't create any chaos because, that becomes then a challenge and affects perspective. And that just piles on top of potential hacking and cybersecurity and privacy. So
oh yeah,
all of this will have to kind of flow along together. Well,
yeah. It will.
Dawn,
Go ahead.
no, no, I'm like, this is, I mean, these are the tough topics, and I'm so glad that you're going to be, bringing so many folks forward for these discussions. But what were you going to say?
Well, I was gonna say, there just has to be a balance, right? Of this idea of being cautious and being safe at the same time, while also advancing the industry. I mean, we've just seen, I think it came out, well, Drone Life published about it today, but it's been kind of out in the press a little bit. Billy Nolan, the FAA administrator, stepping down, UAS integration office, they just put Jeffrey uh name, I'm sorry, he was on my leadership podcast. Amazing.
Vincent?
Yeah, thank you. Jeffrey Vincent
Yeah.
is up, but for a while that was gapped, right? And so when you've got these significant leadership holes in especially in a bureaucratic organization that's supposed to be about safety,
Mm-hmm.
uh the people that either are temporary or what, they're not going to make big decisions,
Yeah.
like, so most people wouldn't, I think, right? Because there's this, self-preservation. Like, I don't want to be the one to make the big call here, and then God forbid something goes wrong, when I'm not even technically the guy or gal. So
Right.
I think that is really complicating matters. But it's what's really frustrating is to see us fall behind. I feel like,
Yeah.
fall behind other countries, and have that BV loss ARC report come out over a year ago,
Yeah.
and crickets.
Yeah.
Uh, come on, like something, nothing, like one piece of it, crawl, walk, run. Now we've seen some more waivers and whatnot, which is great. But everything I hear from my colleagues in the industry about obtaining those waivers, it's super painful and it doesn't
Yeah.
happen overnight. So,
No.
you know, so so we'll see. But I think what's gonna be interesting, Bronwyn, is to see what Congress does with this FAA Reauthorization Act
Yeah.
this year, and what makes its way into there or not.
Yeah.
So yeah, more
Well,
it'll
we're all waiting.
Yeah.
This will be the rest of 2023 will be certainly interesting for us, and everybody's just kind of in this wait and see mode. But at the same time, we're progressing forward. I know we know we're working on our own drone, and we're working on autonomy and data, and so it's in all of us are, and so it'll be interesting to see how we're able to continue also because there's this issue of funding.
Yeah.
How long can that last
Yeah.
while we're waiting on things to work out?
And
So
banks are collapsing around it. I mean, it's just like, you know,
everything's happening.
yeah, you have to be really tone deaf not to see there's a money issue happening in the industry too. And
Hmm.
it'll be I guess we'll see by the end of the year kind of what the landscape looked like. Last year
Exactly.
we had a couple heavy hitters just kind of close shop and say we're
Yeah,
done.
I've
Uh,
experienced that myself on the customer side, and it was
mhm.
heartbreaking. And I'm like, why? But their explanations were valid.
Yeah, you can only wait so
So,
long for sure.
well, Don, I'm looking forward to seeing you in Denver. Thank you so much for jumping on with us for a mini and special version of Xeocast as we get ready for Exponential and all the good content to come. So thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you on Sunday the 7th.
Woohoo. See you then. Hope to see
All
everybody
right.
out there. All right. See you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.